It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here.
The WNBA is under fire once again, but this time it's not just about bad refs or another injured star. Fans are furious after Sophie Cunningham's ugly injury at the hands of Bria Hartley, and now they're calling for her to sue the league. Yes, sue. Social media is demanding Commissioner Cathy Engelbert face the heat in court. But here's the big question. Do they actually have a point? Should Sophie Cunningham really take legal action against the WNBA for letting this keep happening? Share your thoughts. I want to know what you think.
Today's game where Sophie Cunningham went out in the first half. And that was such a huge blow for the Indiana Fever because Sophie Cunningham has been somebody, she has been the glue of this team since Caitlin has been out. She is playing so incredibly well during the second half of this season. She plays hard every single night. She's super tough. She doesn't make excuses. Like, she is somebody who has really held this team together, and seeing her go down in the first half, like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was.
Let's dive right in, because this whole Sophie Cunningham situation has fans losing it. And honestly, after seeing what happened, can you blame them? Sophie wasn't just fouled. She wasn't just hit hard. She was targeted. And not by some rookie making rookie mistakes. No, she was targeted by Bria Hartley, a player with a reputation for cheap shots, dirty fouls, and reckless plays that don't even belong in basketball.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
Now Sophie's on the floor in tears, clutching her leg. And fans have had enough. They're demanding she stop playing nice and drag the WNBA into court.
Why?
Because trust in the system is gone. Fans don't believe in Engelbert. They don't believe in the refs. They don't believe in league safety rules. The only way, they say, anything changes is if Sophie Cunningham hits the league with a negligence lawsuit.
Speed. So as you can see here, Bria Hartley is going baseline. Kelsey Mitchell is guarding her, and then Sophie comes over to help. And then Bria Hartley falls on her leg, and Sophie immediately grabs like her shin area. And I remember when I first saw this replay, at first I was like, oh my gosh, did she roll her ankle again? Because as we know, Sophie has rolled her ankle so many times this season. She has been battling little ankle injuries and she has played through all of them. But then I saw that she grabbed her shin. So I'm like, okay, did she hit her hard enough to actually...
Let's rewind. Sophie Cunningham came to Indiana to bring toughness, grit, and energy. Exactly what Caitlin Clark needed after a rookie season where she was thrown to the wolves night after night. Sophie wasn't just a teammate. She was Clark's shield. She stood tall when refs swallowed the whistle. She had Clark's back when no one else did. And how was she rewarded? By getting taken out by a player who's been dishing out dirty fouls all year. This isn't paranoia, it's a pattern. Bria Hartley pulled Angel Reese down by the hair. She dragged Becca Allen to the floor by her head. Ariel Atkins had to physically step in to stop things from escalating. And now Sophie Cunningham joins the list. Same story, new victim. Fans have seen this play out too many times before, and they know exactly what's happening. The reason lawsuit is trending isn't because people enjoy courtroom drama, it's because they're fed up. They've watched Caitlin Clark get hacked, shoved, and beaten up with almost no protection. They've watched half the league go down with injuries in a single season. And now, they're watching Sophie Cunningham, one of the few veterans who plays hard and defends Clark, end up in tears on the floor. So what's behind all this lawsuit talk? It's simple. If the WNBA can't guarantee basic player safety, then maybe it needs to be held accountable in court. As fans put it, if the refs won't do their jobs and the commissioner won't enforce the rules, why should players keep risking their careers without anyone being held responsible?
Is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg.
Let's be honest. The referees in the WNBA are a disaster. They miss obvious calls, they ignore dangerous fouls, and half the time it looks like they're officiating a completely different sport. Fans joke that these refs should be flipping burgers or washing cars instead of being trusted to protect players like Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and everyone else on the court. And that's where things turn ugly. Sophie's injury wasn't just some freak accident. Fans see it as the result of a league that glorifies physical play while ignoring dirty fouls. The WNBA brags about toughness and pushes a "we're not soft" narrative, but that culture has turned into players being slammed on fast breaks while officials look the other way. Now, Sophie, the one player who consistently stood up for Caitlin Clark, is sidelined for the season, her best stretch as a pro erased in an instant. That's why fans are calling this negligence. Caitlin Clark missed much of her rookie year with injuries. Sophie Cunningham is done. Ari McDonald is out. Sydney Colson is out. Lexi Hull has been battered. Angel Reese has been tossed around like it's WWE. Even Diana Taurasi treated Indiana like a quick paycheck and left. At this point, fans are asking, how can this still be called professional basketball? And here's where Cathy Engelbert enters the picture. Fans see her as the face of the chaos, and they're not wrong. When half the league is hurt, refs are clueless, and players are crying on the floor without protection, that's a leadership failure. Engelbert is the one allowing the circus to continue, pretending everything is fine while the league looks more like a contact sport than basketball. Social media is on fire with clips of Sophie's foul, Clark being shoved, and Hartley's dirty plays. Proof, fans say, that the league is failing its players. So, what would a lawsuit actually do? Fans believe it could finally force the WNBA to act, fix the officiating, hold players accountable, and make Engelbert enforce real rules. It would send a message: you can't keep ignoring this without consequences. The league would, of course, spin it differently. They'd argue Sophie knew the risks, that injuries happen, that refs can't catch everything. But nobody's buying it anymore. Not when the same dirty players are pulling hair, dragging opponents down, and throwing elbows every week like it's MMA. And this isn't just about Sophie, it's about a pattern. Caitlin Clark was tossed around all last season while the WNBA shrugged. Now Sophie's out, and fans are saying enough is enough. The sarcasm online is biting. People joke Sophie should hire the same lawyers who sued the NFL over concussions, or that refs should be subpoenaed, so we can finally learn what game they're actually watching. Some even demand Engelbert be questioned under oath about how she's letting the league fall apart. That's how deep the mistrust runs. Think about that. Fans genuinely believe lawyers in a courtroom would protect Sophie Cunningham better than 3 referees standing 10 feet away from her during a game. And honestly, they're probably right. And this lawsuit talk didn't come out of thin air. Fans are pointing to real examples in other sports. The NFL, for instance, was forced to change after concussion lawsuits. Helmets got redesigned. Safety protocols were created. Players were pulled off the field if they showed signs of injury.
Why?
Not because the league suddenly cared, but because lawsuits forced them to. Fans now ask, if it worked for the NFL, why can't it work for the WNBA? Why should Sophie accept that her season, and maybe her career, was cut short just because the league values marketing slogans over actual player safety? Here's the real question. What's more damaging for Cathy Engelbert? A few angry tweets, or Sophie Cunningham walking into court and saying the WNBA allowed a culture of violence that cut her season short? You already know which one would send sponsors running and force ESPN to finally admit the league's officiating is a disaster. That's why fans are so loud right now. To them, a lawsuit isn't just about Sophie. It's about exposing everything broken in this league. Because, let's be honest, the WNBA has been coasting on Caitlin Clark's star power. Every headline, every TV deal, every sponsorship revolves around her. But if Clark spends half the year banged up and Sophie, the only vet who consistently protected her, is gone too, what's left for fans to get hyped about? Bria Hartley yanking players down by their ponytails? This is why the outrage feels bigger than just one injury. Sophie's collapse is proof the WNBA doesn't take player safety seriously, proof the refs are failing, proof Engelbert is in over her head. And instead of fans quietly accepting it, they're saying, fine, then sue them. And let's not undersell Sophie here. She wasn't just another role player. She brought energy, toughness, and leadership Indiana desperately needed. She defended Clark when others wouldn't. She gave the Fever an edge. Now,
Done. Out.
fans are already calling her season over before the team doctors even weigh in. And the worst part? The Fever can't replace her. They signed Ari McDonald, and she immediately broke her foot. They've already lost Sydney Colson. Diana Taurasi's cameo contract fizzled, and the roster looks more like a hospital waiting room